Hey everyone, Keenan Gray here from DyeStat.com, bringing you a new edition of DyeStat Discussions. What an exciting weekend we had at Nationals weekend, from Nike Indoor Nationals to New Balance Nationals to NCAAs. And we've had so many national records broken, like Jane Hendegren, the Bullis squad. But probably the one that caught the most attention this weekend was this guy right here in the 200 at Nike Indoor Nationals, Tate Taylor out of San Antonio, Texas, 20.46. Not only obliterating that time, not only breaking the record, I should say, he obliterated, which was set by Jaylen Slade, 20.62, which was 4 years ago. And now Tate Taylor is now the king of the indoor 200 at the high school level. Again, really appreciate you hopping on here. Tate, take me through the day, take me through the moment. I mean, I can only imagine just how crazy, how electrifying it really was in the Armory that day.
Yeah, man. First off, I want to start by saying thank you, man. Thank you for having me on here. Thanking God for this opportunity. It's wonderful. All glory to Him, of course. And really, it was just a normal day. The previous days before, I wasn't too excited. You can ask my coach. You can ask my teammates. I was low key tired. I didn't necessarily want to run. Well, I wanted to run, but I didn't necessarily. I wasn't feeling it. But on the final day, I knew it was the last day. It was Sunday. It was my last day down there in New York. So like I said, just trust my work, trusted God, and I knew I wanted to put on the show. Very exciting, especially after my 60 finals performance, having Braden go U.S. #2, and then my teammate was right next to me on the third place spot with his PR. We was very hyped. So taking that energy that we ran in the 60 finals to the 200 helped me a lot. And shout out to Brandon Arrington Jr. because although he may have got DQ'd, he definitely broke that record with me. So I'm proud of him for pushing me. And I'm just very proud to run with a guy like that because I love the competition, man. It was great.
Hey, for sure, it won't be the last time you'll see him. I guarantee you that,
Yes,
since you
yes.
guys do compete. I believe you guys are in the same state in the Texas, correct?
No, sir, I don't think so.
No, well, regardless, though, you're going to see him at some point throughout this
Yeah.
outdoor season. But well, if you're calling that not a normal day of track and field, I don't even know what my normal day would be called. If getting up in the morning is normal for me, I can only imagine what I'd be like if I had broken a national record in any specific event, though. So, before we kind of dive deeper into that specific race, let's talk about who you are as a person. As I said, you're from San Antonio, Texas. You're a junior this year at Harlan High School. And it looks like I'm just looking through your athletic profile. You've been maybe just running track since ninth grade. Maybe you've started a little bit earlier than that. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I started track maybe 3 years ago. Let me see. It was seventh grade. So I know seventh grade, eighth grade, ninth grade. I wanted to be a basketball player. I didn't really take track seriously. I knew I could go far in it because I was always kind of fast. My dad,
Mhm.
Tate Taylor, ran track at UNC collegiately, and he played football. And my mom was a track star in high school, Chandra Lewis. So I've always been fast, and my sister has been fast. So it was always in me, right? But I never necessarily wanted to run track. I didn't start off like that. I know at a very young age, my first sport was soccer. Tried a little flag football when I was younger, and I played basketball. I really wanted to play basketball. But when I got to eighth grade and I broke our district record for middle school, I realized that track is something that I could do. And I looked more into it, obviously. And I think the main reason I chose track was because I could see the world. Track is an international sport. You could travel all over the place for track meets and stuff like that. You get to see and meet a lot of new, different types of people, right? All walks of life. So I think that's the main thing that got me into track.
What was your position in basketball?
I used to be in the paint because I was a lot taller than everybody else. So I guess you could say center, but I was not the strongest. But when I was tall, they just passed me the ball. I laid it up or something like that.
How tall were you, I guess, in the seventh and eighth grade?
Ooh, I can't even say I was crazy tall because right now I'm probably like 6'1", 6'2". So seventh, eighth grade, I may have been 5'9", 5'10", but I could dunk eighth grade year. That's probably why I was.
Oh,
That's probably
okay.
why I was center.
Oh, to that degree, then, do you think about doing high jump when you first started doing track?
Oh yeah, seventh grade year I did high jump. I think my PR was I want to say 5 and 8, maybe. It may have been a little bit lower. I might be hyping myself up a little too much, but it was fun. It got good. I was decent and I had fun until I got to 8th grade where I got into more stuff and shin splints started to hit. So I had to put that life behind me. But I love jumps. Jumps is always fun.
You look back and think, man, I miss playing basketball.
Of course, basketball is so much fun because as much as I love track and it's genuinely a sport that has done a lot for me, I I would have to admit basketball and even football is really fun. They're fun to play, man.
Well, again, I think you found the right sport for yourself just based on what we saw, this past weekend. But also, I mean, you've been kind of on the rise here within this last year and a half or so. I go back to your sophomore year, and you ran like 675 for a 60 meter, and then 2106 for a 200, which for indoor stuff, I mean that's back in March. I mean
Yeah.
that's really good for a sophomore. So, um, what did you kind of take away from that New Balance Nationals indoor championship last year when you were in Boston, and those times and the opportunity to compete with some of the fastest guys in the country?
Yes, sir. I take away a lot of things, but I think the main thing I took away is determination because I was in the first heat. It was a 2 heat final at Nationals last year in New Balance, and since I was in the first heat, I had ran one with my boy Sean. Shout out Sean, and we both crossed the line. And Sean had went US #1, and I had went US #3 in the first heat, right? So I was like, man, US #3. I was like PR. I was like, thank you, Lord. I was excited, and then all 3 guys in the second heat went like I think the slowest time. Jaden Wiley went 20.7. And it was 20 point. Was it 20.7? It may have been 20.8. No, it was Kane Stanley. But it was 20.8, 20.7, and 20.6, obviously by Jake Odie. Shout out Jake. And I think after that, my determination changed because I was like, man, I just ran US #3, but in like a split second, everything could change and there's always somebody that's faster. So I prayed about it a lot. I obviously thank God for the opportunity, of course, but I knew that we had to do a lot more work and there was a lot more work to be done. So me and Coach Kevin, man, yeah, we got into the lab. Me and God, we got into the lab and we started grinding, man.
I mean, you still came away with All-American honors in both events. I mean, you were top six in both of those, and you still only a sophomore. And again, Jake Odie Jordan last year was kind of the anomaly as a sophomore. Was racing with Great Britain at the U20 level at the World Championships. So
Yeah.
again, he was on a different level than you were at, obviously, in your sophomore year, but something must have clicked during outdoor season where, you kind of just flip the switch and, you go through the Texas State year. You finish second in the 100. You're in 10:28 into a headwind, mind you. And then you also get fourth in the 200 at the Texas 6A state championships. That one, the 100 in the headwind when you're in 10:28. Was
hmm
that hard when you did that?
No. I can't say it was hard because I don't think much during the race. I don't think it's difficult or not. But
Mhm.
just recently that day, my team had broke our San Antonio City record in the 4x1 with a 40.09. Very proud of my boys, Peyton Matthews, Anthony DeRosalle, and Giavi Graham. We ran very fast, but even with our massive PR, we PR'd by like a full second. 4 teams still went under 40, so we got fifth place. So I was like, man, we did great, and we had a great race. But I'm finna get it back for my boys, man. So that 100, I can't say it was hard, but I definitely could have won. I'll admit, I could have won. I think I got out. I had a good block start. I had a good dry phase. And when I got up into my top end, because I'm kind of a top end guy, I'm pretty good at that. But when I had got up, I had seen Jelani Watkins like right next to me, and he was coming. And I think if anybody who knows track, you're not supposed to try to speed up. You're supposed to stay relaxed. You're supposed to stay focused, keep form, and just push through the line. But I fought too hard, and I tried to, I fought too hard, and I tried to beat him, and then that's when I got unrelaxed and he caught me. But that 10-2, I was very surprised because, a sophomore going 10-2, it was even though we got freshmen going like 10 flat nowadays, a sophomore going 10-2 was a very big accomplishment.
Freshman, that's going. I don't know what no, freshman, that's going 10 flat. I don't really know many of them.
That boy Donovan Mitchell. Can't do it.
There, yeah, there's a lot there. I mean, like you said, there's a lot of guys that are running fast right now. But again, I mean, we're talking about the Texas 6A state championships. You know, the highest
Yeah,
level of competition you could arguably have, not only just in Texas, but in the entire country.
yeah,
And you're finishing second as a sophomore. I mean, what does that speak volume to? You know, kind of like the progression you've made since you really started this. I mean, like you said, you were a basketball player before you even got into track.
yes. The progression was beautiful. Obviously, it spoke a lot of volumes considering I've came a long way from where I started. Freshman year was my breakout year because I went 10-5 freshman year. But even before I went 10-5, I was going like 11-2, you know. And I think what really did it for me was the fact that I didn't want to. A lot of the times when I ran freshman year, I was like, okay, I'm coming in here. I'm fast. I want to, break all these records and do whatever. But
Mm,
until that one meet that I went 10-5, I was like, I'm just gonna run. I
mm,
took all the weight off my shoulders. I put no pressure on myself, and I was like, let's just go in here and have fun. So ever since that, I kind of just continued to do that, and the progression has been beautiful with that mindset of no pressure, just run. Just have fun. God put you here for a reason. God always has you there for a reason, and the moment's never too big, right? So just go out there and have fun. And even though I ran fast, there's a lot of more work to be done, right? With
mm,
that same 10-2, although I got second, I still lost. You know what I'm saying? Same
mhm.
thing at JO's. I went 10-2. My boy Braden Williams, he's just too fast, man. I lost to him. So 10-2 was cool, but yeah, we gonna do some more, man, for sure.
What do you think for you has been the biggest jump or, in terms of, whether it's your start, whether it's your finish, maybe it's nutrition, your fitness. What's been the biggest
Yeah.
change you've seen from yourself over this last year?
My lactic threshold. Because first, that's the 100 doesn't take much of that, right? You don't need a crazy lactic threshold to run the one, but the 200 going from what was it? I don't think I've ever ran 20.9 ever. I went from like
Mm,
a 21.6. I went from like a 21.6. I got a lot of race models, and I worked on that 400-meter training in a way, right, to lower my lactic or higher my lactic threshold. And when that got down, my times drop like crazy because of the fact that I can hold my top end speed for a longer period of time without getting tired. So that 100 was cool, but I've always kind of been the 200 guy. The 200 is my favorite event. I love it. Even indoors, it's really fun. So seeing the progression change when my lung capacity and my lactic threshold got a lot better, and I went from because in indoor, my PR before I ran that 20.4, right? Obviously, all glory to God. But my PR before that was 21. It was 21.06. That was my first ever 20-point indoor, and it was 20.4. So a lot of work was put in, man, and that I feel like that changes a lot.
Just looking at, in season for high school, man, like you said, you started off the year running 21.6. You did break 21, but it wasn't when legal. It wasn't until, during when you ran with San Antonio Swift Track Club, it wasn't till June 13th at the USATF Texas Southern Association that you finally broke 21. To that moment, you break a barrier. It's kind of like, if like for high schoolers, at least in milers, if they
Yeah,
break four for the first time, like that's a big freaking deal for them to
yeah.
do that. So
But
for you, how big of a deal was that, to finally get under something like that, knowing that it was win legal too?
not really a big deal. I think a lot of guys will do something and celebrate, which is good. Obviously, right? You want to celebrate, of course. You're supposed
Mhm.
to celebrate, right? It's a good thing to celebrate. Have that confidence in yourself, knowing that you did what you just did and own up to it. However, you cannot, right? You cannot celebrate for too long. Things change very
Mhm.
fast. A lot of people run a lot faster. So the fact that I ran that time and I was like, okay, I did what I know I could do. I wasn't necessarily
Mhm.
surprised, right? I was like, thank you God for allowing it to be win legal, but there's still a lot more work to do. So that basically told me that I could go 20-point at will, if that makes sense, right? I could go 20-point whenever I really run for real. So that told me a lot about myself, considering the fact that if I could go 20-point at will, right, I can hop into a random meet and go 20-point. That means when there's somebody to push me, I'll run faster. So I was very excited to see what the rest of the season held as the competition got higher.
Yeah. And he had a nice little tailwind, but again, as I said at the beginning of this program, I mean, what you did on July 25th at the JO meet, you run 20.66 into a negative 1.3 headwind, which you had already run a 21.2 and a 1.9 headwind, which if you're talking about the differences here, man, I mean, that is a really challenging thing to do. So, is that a testament to the strength that you had that day?
Of course, it's a testament to my opponents, Justin Stewart, Amir Thompson. Those guys, I know those guys can go 20-point, and they're very fast, right? They're very competitive. I know they wanted to win, and of course, all respect to them, man. They genuinely pushed me to the max. Cause, like I said, I didn't even know I could go 20.6, right? I don't necessarily put a time on what I can do. I just go out there and try to win, right? And with that win comes those times. But when you have genuine competition that pushes you like to your limit for real, because I didn't even know it was a headwind. I was just running, you know. I mean, that's not something you should worry about when you're running, unless it's like unless it's like a crazy headwind. But just seeing those guys next to me and me wanting to like push and strive for better, because although those guys are fast, like I said, man, me and God, we just a little bit faster if you believe.
The season finishes. You complete your sophomore season. You go into the summer. What were the conversations like you had with, maybe your club coach, maybe your high school coach? I'm sure you're like, all right, I am super excited to get back onto the track for junior season. Like I am ready to rock and roll now, but I also have to kind of process what I just did this year.
Yes, sir. With my high school coach, we got a new high school track coach, this year compared to last year. But my last year coach he was congratulating me and he was like, no matter what, you got to keep going. You know what I'm saying? Don't settle down. He said, stay healthy, stay hungry, and stay humble. So I live by those. I love that. And my club coach, Coach Kevin, well, he was excited about what I did, obviously, but he was like, "You could have went faster." You know that. He loves the competition and everything that I do. But even with that 20.4, he's not thinking about that in that moment. He's always thinking about the future, right? He's like 20.4, that's nice, but imagine what you do outdoor. That's nice, but imagine what you could do next year. So I love how he he allows me to celebrate, but he doesn't celebrate too much himself. He'll keep me humble, he'll keep me down to earth, and he'll keep me in the lab and training for more and better.
Is he like that with all of the athletes that he coaches? Is he a very sarcastic person, but at the same time, he's a genuine person with you guys as well?
Oh, most definitely, man. Kevin is just he's a good dude. San Antonio Swift is a family culture. From the mid distance coach to the hurdles coach to the long distance coach, we're all the family culture, and no matter what it is, they're gonna celebrate you in a way that makes you feel like even if you didn't PR, they're gonna attend to you and help you understand that you still accomplished something. Even though you didn't achieve the main goal, you still got the job done, and you still had you got to recognize self success. So I like that
How much of a track fan are you?
very much. So I'm a big track fan. I like watching track.
Yeah. You get a chance to watch the Paris Olympics this last summer?
Of course.
Yeah. What was your all-time favorite moment of the entire games? I mean, you could easily pick Noah Lyles winning the 100 because that was epic, but
Yeah.
a young guy like Let's Seal Tobogo kind of like created a started creating a legacy for himself with that
Yeah.
huge win in the 200. But I'm curious to know what your favorite moment was from the Paris games.
Well, my two favorite athletes are Lesile and Arian Knighton. I love the way they train. I love the way they run. So Arian Knighton had a good. I was very excited to see him running. He had a good Olympic Games, but Lesile, man, Tobogo went off, dog. I
Uh,
believe he ran what 19.49, and not only
mhm,
that, but he anchored that 4x4 and
mhm.
went a 43 flat basically. So I'm like, man, he's an incredible athlete. He's very versatile. He can go all the way from the 100 to the 400, and that was probably my favorite moment. His 200 was cool, but that 4x4 is probably my favorite.
I mean, the versatility in that athlete is insane, and his ability. like you said, to go run a 400. And I mean, a lot of people thought, the US kind of had it in the bag in with,
Yeah,
with Ryan Benjamin on the anchor leg, but then you see Tobogo right on his heels, and it's like it's a little too close for comfort for the Americans there at the end.
yeah,
But of course, USA comes out on top in the end. But it's interesting that
sure.
a lot of people that are in the United States, like they pick Noah Lyles just because the flash and the flair. But what about Tobogo? Kind of, I don't know, intrigues you? I mean, he's a quiet guy, and I don't know. Maybe it sounds like a little bit like you. He's just like he's reserved and he keeps to himself and can just kind of just lets the racing do the talking.
Yeah, I do love Noah Lyles, man. I love the amount of energy he brings to the stage and how he always runs with a chip on his shoulder. I like the way he does stuff, but Tobogo is he's more cool, calm, and collected. Obviously, like you said, he doesn't say much. He's a quiet guy. But he always is able to go out there and no matter what, he's going to be seen. You know, even if he
Sure.
has even if he has a bad race on his worst day, he's always going to be seen, right? I think he's a 300-meter world record holder. We didn't even, he's a 200 guy. We didn't
Mhm.
even know he could really do that. And then even in
Yeah.
that 4x4, he got the baton and took off. And I just like the way that he's smooth. I like the way he runs. It's very smooth. Like I said, it's very cool, calm, and collected, and it's nice and steady all the way through.
Now, here's a question and testing your track theory, since you call yourself a track fan. What was your favorite non-sprinting event to watch?
Let me see. Probably got to be high jump. High jump was fun, but I did see the. Well, I guess you can call the. Can you really call the? What- Can you really call the? What is it? Heptathlon or which one was it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, can you call it?
Heptathlon.
Yeah, could you? Is that a considered non-track event, non-sprinting event?
Well,
I
no,
guess.
I'm just thinking. Well, I mean, I was thinking. When I said non-sprinting event, I mean, you could have done distance, you could have done hurdles, you could have done.
Oh, okay, yeah,
I mean,
yeah, yeah.
basically anything that was not sprinting related.
Yeah, that heptathlon was actually pretty interesting to watch, and I love jumps. I love long and triple jump. I can't tell you who won, but I can definitely
Mhm.
tell you that watching them just fly into the pit like that and all the phases of triple jump is beautiful, man. I genuinely do like watching that stuff.
Yeah. Well, that's going to be your homework this outdoor season. Kind of widen your knowledge of the sport. Watch more events and
Sure.
and check things out. Just to just to get more knowledge about the sport in general. But again, going back to Nike Indoor Nationals, let's talk about the weekend and the preparation going into that one. What was that week like leading up to that race? What were the workouts like? What did you do that week in Texas?
Let me see. Going back to a week before nationals, just kind of prepping, not doing too much stuff, getting ready. I did a lot of 400-meter training because nothing crazy, not like crazy 400-meter running, but a 4-2 workout plan in order to train my lactic threshold a little bit more. Considering I knew I was gonna have to push, right? Had a lot of competition in my heat, and I really wanted to win. So, excuse me. Let me see. In the week prior, that's what we did. In the week of, just kind of chilled. The main thing I focused on was water hydration and eating right. I wanted to make sure I stayed hydrated. I wanted to make sure I stayed energized, right? I had the right nutrients in my system. So really, I can't even say I focused on training much because I know that as long as I trust what I do, right, and I pray about it, right, I trust God enough to allow me to go out there and just do what I do best. I know how to run. I know how everybody else runs. This is nothing new to me. I'm not worried about anybody else on that track, and we just finna go out there and have a good time, right? But with having a good time, I think the most important part was recovery, making sure my body is right, making sure my energy levels are right, and just making sure that I'm mentally ready for the competition.
Was there a specific workout that you did, or maybe even, a couple weeks or months beforehand that told you it's like, all right, I am now prepared to do something fast by the end of this indoor season?
Maybe a week before, because you can ask Coach Kevin. That week of like the training, I was tired. I was like, man, I really don't. Obviously, I wanted to go and have fun, but I was out of it. I was sleeping in late and stuff like that. But the week before, we had this one broken 400 workout with my school team, and everybody else was kind of laying on the floor, and I'm like, man. I'm not even that tired. So I think after that workout, I was like, I might actually be ready to do something special. So yeah, that was nice.
Is that kind of going back to the fact that you kind of built up this lung capacity in yourself and you're able to handle those hard workouts?
Yes, of course. And the guys at Harlan hold me accountable. The guys at Harlan High School and the guys at San Antonio Swift hold me accountable. There's this one there's this one teammate I have at Harlan, his name is Jerome. If we had a hard workout and he see me on the floor, he literally I could be dying like the end of the workout. He literally look at me and be like, you don't want to get better. And it's just the fact that he says that, and it's like, man, you don't even know. I just love it. I love the accountability that they hold. I hold them accountable. They hold me accountable, and we genuinely push each other to be better. And I love it.
Feeling that you get teased a lot through either your club team or your high school team.
Man, uh, yeah. They know me. I'm a silly guy. I'm a lot of people say I'm unserious, right? I don't really take many things to heart. I don't really take many things seriously, considering the fact that if you do, you won't have as much fun. You gotta find the fun in everything in order for you to continue to enjoy what you do, right? So I'm a very funny guy. I'm a slick guy, right? I talk a lot. I'll admit, but I just have fun, man. That's all it really is.
Oh, you sound like a sprinter. That's at the end of the day, that's what you sound like, and I think that fits perfect for you. But
Yes, sir.
so
Thank you.
yeah, so I'm looking at kind of the results, preliminary rounds. It seemed like you cruised through pretty easily. I mean, 681 seems like that's a cakewalk for you. 2110 cakewalk. How'd you feel coming out of the preliminary round before running in finals on the last day?
I'll be honest. I wasn't mad at the 60. I'm never really mad at a run, but that 60 could be better. The block start kind of messed me up because I have a little bit of a bigger foot, I guess you could say, and the pedals for the armory were kind of small, so I
Mhm.
had to. It wasn't really a big deal. I just had to adjust to that because not every pedal's the same, not every block is the same, so I had to adjust to that. And for the 200, really, shout out Coach Chris Lloyd, man. He gave me he gave me a new race model that I took in because in the prelims. I can't really say I cruised, but I can't say at any part of the race I was running full speed. I kind of wanted to get a feel for the track, wanted to see what I felt like. And when it came to the finals, he gave me a new race model, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna try that. So, foot on the gas, and I just kept going. And for the 60, I, I, I can't even say much about the 60. I just kind of lined up and hope to have a good time, really.
Well, if a good time is 664, I think that's a pretty damn good day to say the
Yeah, I
least.
guess it
And,
was,
and
huh?
especially when you're running up against a guy, in Braden Deshaun Williams, which I mean that guy was cruising through that final and running
Yeah,
one of the fastest times in the country.
man, I cannot stress enough how proud of I am of Braden. He has genuinely came a long way. He put in a lot of work that people don't see. Track takes a lot of work that a lot of people don't see, right? Even outside of practice. So for him to come out and just a few days prior go 9-9, it's genuinely good to see that type of competition, especially coming out of Texas, because me and Braden have a rivalry, like always in the straight, that straight
Mhm.
distance. In the 100 we have a rivalry, in that 60 we have a rivalry. So people know, and we know, anytime we go up against each other, it is going to be a good race, right? And I think that's what anytime we go up against each other, that's always something we have in our head. It's like, okay, this is kind of, what I'm saying, this is kind of my rival. And no matter what happens, right? Obviously, I know Braden wants to win, but for me, I kind of feel like it's no matter what happens, I'm proud of him. You know what I'm saying? I love the competition. I love to compete, and I just pray we all have a good race, man.
When I think of a rivalry now, I think of Josh Kerr and Jakob Ingebrigtsen because those two
Yeah,
do not like each other whatsoever. But it
that,
sounds like you and Braden do actually do like each other, so it's a friendly rivalry.
yeah, I would say so.
Yeah.
That's
Then the 200. I mean, it is about as loaded of the final as it gets. And unlike
yeah,
last year, where you were you were in that first section and having to watch all those guys in the second section, you were the one in that second section. And when we're talking about a load of the field, I mean, we're talking Jaden Horton Mims, we're talking Brandon Arrington, we're talking your teammate Andrew Wright, I believe, was in that second
yeah.
section with you as
Well,
well.
not he was in the first section. He was in the first section.
Or then who? Then it was Jaden Boyd, or which one? Who was it? Because I'm
Yeah,
looking
it
at
was
the
Boyd.
just
It
the
was Boyd.
overall results.
Yeah, it was Jaden Boyd. Yeah.
I mean, again, just I mean, just the gauntlet there. I mean, just talk about the atmosphere and what it was like. I mean, I saw glimpses of it. Sparklers going off, the lights dimming down. Like it
Yeah,
feels like it is. It gives Olympic feeling a little bit in that sense.
man, it was great. Like I said, I thank God for every opportunity that I'm in, but just to see my teammate moments before, not necessarily get a PR, but I think he made a PR, but he got close to his PR. Right, 21-3. Andrew Wright, he's a great training partner. I love training with that guy. He's just a dog, man, because he can range all the way from the 100. I think it's 100. It's 10-4, all the way from the 400. He's definitely breaking 46 outdoor this year because he just went 40. Or my fault, not 46, but he's definitely breaking 47 outdoor because he just went 47-1 indoor. So seeing that before I run gave me a lot of confidence and motivation. And I know Brandon, right? Brandon Arrington, he's just a dog. Obviously, I know Jaden, and obviously I know Boyd. But that was the race model. I'll admit the race model was based off of Horton Mims because I knew that if I cruised too hard, Horton, he's a 400 runner. So he would have ate me alive, boy, if I cruised too hard because he has way more strength than me to finish. But considering I am a sprinter, I used that to my advantage. And I came off that first curve and I used all that momentum that I built up to sprint like as fast as I could. And then I opened my stride on the second curve and I just kind of floated off of it. And then I finished with what I had left. So like I said, man, Brandon Arrington, just being able to be next to that and having him to push me was truly a blessing. Because, like I said, he broke the record with me. We both went 20.4. He went 20.49. Where did I go? 20.46, I think. So he was third in my eyes. Basically, he's third all time indoor 200s, and he's only a junior, so he's back next year as well. So being able to compete against that top level competition and the atmosphere, it was genuinely wonderful. Like I said, I believe God always has us on a platform for a reason, and the moment is never too big. So we just went out there and had fun.
He wouldn't be third all time. You're number one, and he would be number
He's
two
number two.
all time.
Yeah,
So I mean, had the DQ not been there, it would have arguably been the greatest high school indoor
yeah.
200 race of all time,
I
just
can't
based
even
on
lie.
what you ran and what he ran.
Yeah, I can't even lie. Even though it is DQ'd, man, I hate that for him. But even though it is DQ'd, it still is. Like people won't look at that race and be like, "Oh, Tay was all by himself." No, you know what I'm saying? I had to fight for that one, and I really wanted that chain. Nike gives champions a chain, and I was like, because when I crossed that line, I was like, man, I was like, I won. I was like, thank you, Lord. And I was like, all right, where my chain at? Because I love that chain. I was definitely going for it in the 60, but Braden got that, and I'm very proud of him. Right? Obviously, no hard feelings. It was a great race, well deserved. But that chain in the 200, I was like, I know who's in my heat, but I don't care who's in my heat. I was like, I want to win. So, by the grace of God, that's
You
what.
wear you wearing it right now?
Nah, I'm not. I don't got it on me right now.
Why not?
Gotta stay in the box. It's too luxurious, man. I gotta stay in the box.
I was gonna say you're talking about this big game about wanting to get this chain, and you're like, I don't really want to wear it right now.
I'm gonna wear it on very, very, very special occasions. Can't be pulled out for nothing.
Wear it to prom. That's always a special occasion right there.
I got you, man. I'll remember
It's always
that.
So, that race caught a lot of people's attention. And, there are two people that really were like, that are big figures in the sport that really kind of like took to social media and voiced their opinion about it. One of them was Noah Lyles, and then the other one was Justin Gatlin, two of the greatest sprinters to ever, wear a USA kit. I'll read what Noah had to say as I'm pulling it up here right now. Records are made to be broken, and he took that to heart. This is a crazy impressive time and win. Congratulations. Now, you had come in with, like you said, an all-time best, not even breaking 21 seconds in an
Yeah.
indoor 200. Noah ran 20.63, which was also at the Armory. So
Mm,
you beat his Armory record, but also his meet record.
yeah.
So to kind of put that in perspective, what does that kind of say to you?
Um, all glory to God, man. God is genuinely good. I was praying about that. The crazy part is I wanted to be when I came into that indoor meet, I wanted to be a 3-time national champ in the 4x2, in the 60, and in the 200, right?
Mhm,
3-time indoor at least. In the
mhm,
4x2, we didn't get it. We got fourth. We were all Americans though. Very proud of my team. Shout out to Antonio Swift, of course. When it comes
mhm.
to the 60, obviously that boy Braden is just Braden is just different. He's something else. So I knew it was gonna be hard to get in that, and when I didn't get it, I was a little bummed out. But I wanted that 60 high school record. I was thinking about that one. The
Mhm.
657, because I didn't even know what the 200 record was. I never even looked at it because I genuinely did not think that I could go that fast. So I was like, but the 60 is doable. So that's the one I was praying about the most. But like I said, I prayed to God that I would be a 3-time indoor national champ. And although that didn't happen, he blessed me with not only a 200-meter national champ, once again, right, indoor and outdoor, but he blessed me with the national record that I didn't even know I broke. So it's genuinely a blessing and more work to be done, man.
Yeah, I mean, again, like I said, you broke Noah Lyles' meet record. You break his Armory record. I mean, we're talking about a world champion, an Olympic gold medalist, who, again, you could argue is the biggest personality right now
Mm-hmm.
in track and field, and he's taken to social media to congratulate you. So if I were you, I'd be like, damn, that is such a cool honor to have. But like you
Yeah,
said, there's more work to be done. With
yeah,
regards to Justin, on the other hand, you actually have a personal relationship with Justin,
yeah.
and he actually has a relationship with your coach, and they've been able to, work together. And I'm trying to find, I think it was like Instagram story that he like posted out there saying congratulations and all that. Tell me about like kind of the relationship you have with Justin and how Coach Kevin has that relationship with him as well.
Just family, right? Just all good vibes. We all come from the same culture of track and field, right? Nothing really changes over the years. It all kinds of stays the same. And like I said, with Fast University and Coach Will, whenever they come down, they bring Justin down a lot of the times to critique us, right, and train with us. And to me, it's not really Justin Gatlin. It's like Coach Gatlin in a way. We've had a lot of training sessions together. We've had a lot of conversations together as opposed to track and life beyond track. So, and him and Coach K been friends for a little minute. So they got whatever they got going on. But
Mhm.
very blessed to be shout out by Noah Lyles, of course. Thank you. And very blessed to even know Justin Gatlin on a deeper level than most people because
Mhm.
having that different perspective from somebody who's done it before and is still growing with the sport as well, right,
Mhm.
is very helpful. Very helpful.
Is there something that Justin might have told you that you've kind of, took to heart and always remember of like, all right, if I'm struggling with something, I'm going to remember what Justin told me and try to use that, whether it's in my race, whether it's in life, or
Yeah.
anything to make me a better person.
Um, Detail. He always tells me detail. He was like, at some point in time, you can't get any faster, right? No matter how much you
Okay.
train, you reach a certain level of speed that you plateau, right? A certain miles per hour that you cannot get any faster than that. So he was like, "You're not there yet, obviously, because I'm still 17. But when I get there, and even though I'm not there, he said, detail. Always pay attention to detail because the little things make you elite. You can't just keep doing the basics things, the surface things, and think you will make it far, right? The little things make you elite. So anytime." anything else goes out the window or I be thinking about something else, I always think detail because that's very important.
Yeah, and as you said, you're 17 years old. You're still learning the sport, even though you've been doing, like I said, you've only been doing this for a couple years, and you are this national record holder. But at the end of the day, you're still young, and you're still learning as the days go by.
Yes,
Just
sir.
kind of looking at the future of this sport, and I mean, the youth has been incredible, specifically in this 200 event and in the 100. Guys, like yourself, Jake Odie Jordan, throw
Yeah.
Christian Miller into the mix. And there's this 18, 19-year-old named Gout Gout in Australia that's kind of tearing up the scene recently. Where
Yeah.
do you kind of see where the sport is going right now in terms of, I mean, you guys are running so much faster. Again, you can say technology and shoes and everything's different
Hmm.
now than what it was, a
Yeah.
decade ago. But where do you see the sport going in the next another decade where when we're talking about you competing at the collegiate stage, when we're talking about you competing at the professional stage?
Fast. It's going fast. No matter how you put it, the sport over time is growing. No matter what, the attention that Noah Lyles brings, the attention that Jake Gout, even guys like Quincy Wilson, the attention that they bring to youth track and field, and all that we will carry on to the next level is going to be fast, and the growth rate is going to be fast, and it's going to be entertaining. I feel like once we are up in that stage, there's going to be a lot more people who know about track and field than they do now. Even if it is to turn on one race, you know what I'm saying? That one race that they turn on is still viewers added up. So I feel like it will bring a lot of attention to track and field as opposed to publicity.
And you ran 24/6 at Nike Indoor Nationals. This is an indoor time, folks. We're talking here. We're not even in the outdoor season. I mean, it's not June, it's not July. We're not even talking about Nike Outdoor Nationals or U20s. Tate, what is the ultimate goal by the end of this season? The high school national record is 20.09, which I know is a bit of a stretch right now because that is well out there by Mr. Noah Lyles. But I
Yeah,
got to imagine, you want to get in the same conversation as guys like Tyreek Hill, Michael
yeah.
Norman, um, just looking down the list of guys, Matthew Bowling. I mean, Matthew Bowling is one of the all-time greats in the state of Texas. So I'm sure you want to get into the same conversation as him. But what is the ultimate goal in the 200 this season for you?
Um, no time. There's never time. I don't ever have a time speculation. The ultimate goal is to obviously, records. I'll admit records would be nice, but I don't
Mhm.
think I ever have a time speculation. The ultimate goal is to continue to work hard, continue to trust God, and continue to trust the process, man. Because overall, times are cool, but if you get caught up in all that time stuff and doing this, doing that, you add pressure on yourself and you forget to have fun. You just have to have fun. Having fun is the most important part about it because if you're not having fun, then at this point you're just running. You're just doing it because. So, like I said, no time speculation. We just trying to win.
And that's good perspective, Tate. Before I let you go, where can we expect you next? What's the season opener for you? Is it Texas Relays?
My season opener in the 200 next week. I think next week. I think on Thursday, March 27th. That's my season opener for the 200. So y'all can. I don't even know where it is. Somewhere in San Antonio, but outdoor for the 100 already open. I went 10-3, so we gonna try to lower that. But for that 200, stay tuned.
Already ran 10-3, and again, it's March, folks. We're not even into the peak season of sprinting in track and field. So Tate, again, really appreciate your time, man. Once again, congratulations on this huge milestone.
Thank you, man.
Where can people follow you on social media? Because I know there's a lot of people that are gonna be like, where is this Tate Taylor guy at?
TK.Taylor2 on Instagram, and I don't even know my Twitter handle. I forgot, but
Called X now. It's not Twitter
yeah,
anymore. It's called
X.
X.
My fault. I don't even know my X handle, but TK.Taylor2 on Instagram, and if you follow me, and I know you, I'll follow you back.
Again, Tate Taylor, junior at Harlan High School. Now with also the San Antonio's, I want to get it right, San Antonio Swifts Track Club, and now a national high school record holder in the indoor 200. Again, Tate, really appreciate your time, and best of luck this outdoor season.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you for being here. I appreciate you for inviting me, and God bless.